What's good, y'all? Fire press conference from Spence and Crawford yesterday. Both guys look like they should make the weight. And there was a lot of trash talk in the air, man. When one did their interviews, you got hecklers in the crowd throwing Bud off his game. Bud was a monster in this press conference. You know what I mean? He addressed the crowd. Now it seemed like it was a lot of Spence fans mostly. He was like, "Hey man, shit can get real. You know what I'm talking about." Hopefully the fans don't make it about them at this fight. But I love the energy in the air. You know what I mean? I love the energy in the air, man. This is the fight of the fights of all fights in this era right now. You know what I mean? Derek James. The boxing boys, they made it a lot about Derek James when he said about Bomac. What's good, Just Do? I got to get on here a little bit before the fight, man. This fight too big. This fight too big. I can't let this pass by. You know what I mean? What you got going on today? But yeah, though, I like what I seen though, because during the whole build up, they was kind of respectful to each other. They still kind of was in that last press conference. Cause Bud, he was doing all the yelling at the heckler and stuff. And then when it was time to face off, he was trying to smile and come on, Bud, you can't be doing all that. You can't be doing all that. This nigga walked up and he was there. I don't think Bud, I don't know. Everybody is claiming everybody got nervous energy. But shit, a fight this big, I don't blame them. After that first round, after they get the sweat going and all that, they'll forget about the crowd. They'll forget about the crowd. You know what I mean? It's in Las Vegas. I heard they finally sold it out. That's all I've been. Well, that's not all I've been hearing, but I've been hearing that it has it sold out. But to look at how high those tickets are. You know what I mean? You need a couple bands just to get in the dough. You know what I mean? But the fight is worth it, though. The fight is worth it, though. I got to see these weigh-ins, the ring walks, and everything. We got to see who's nervous. You know what I mean? Because Cool Boy, when he walked in Japan, when he was walking to the ring, he was looking nervous. He looked nervous when they was calling his name. Hold on, real quick. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like he went to Japan. I know that nerves did settle in. He never said nothing about that though after the loss or whatever. Hopefully Cool Boy keep his head up. You know what I mean? He seemed like he will though. Cool Boy, he pretty much I still got Cool Boy over everybody else. I still got Cool Boy over everybody else in this division, but yeah, Spence and Crawford, those guys gotta be nervous, man. You're gonna have all those people in the crowd, plus on pay-per-view. It's shit. See, my pay-per-view prediction, I think that it's gonna do over 500K, but probably not a million. Because Tank and Garcia, they had the social media high school girls and all that buying the fight, so they got over a million. And no No disrespect. They did their thing. I heard they got 30. I heard they got heavyweight money for that fight. So it is what it is. That's why I say that they prioritized that fight over the Spence and Crawford fight because they seen the potential of it doing over 1 million, and it did. And you know what I mean? That shit probably helped pay for Spence and Crawford. I don't know what they're getting, but I heard they're getting high guarantees, very high guarantees. And they do deserve it though. I feel like they've built their careers up well enough, fought good enough competition to warrant that much money that they are allegedly getting for this fight, plus the back end. So if it's gonna be like 700,000 pay-per-views bought, imagine the illegal streams. It's probably gonna be like 5 million people illegally streaming the fight. So it's gonna be millions of people watching these two fight. And they have cleaned out the welterweight division. Jaron Ennis, he came around when the build up was up, when they was already building up. You know what I mean? You knew that Jaron Ennis wasn't finna fight either one of these guys before this happened. So yeah, this is a real pound for pound, top level fight. And Newey and Fulton was too, though. That's crazy. We got both of these fights in the same week. We're gonna have to go back in time, probably before 2000, to really think of a better year than this. You know what I mean? What if we get Bivol and Beterbiev, after this? What if we get Bivol and Beterbiev in like 4 months? But I think Bivol finna take another fight and Beterbiev his fight next month. So we probably won't get that shit this year. But Spence and Crawford, what I seen, I don't know. Bud did a lot of good, but I think it was corny that he copied Spence with the Air Forces too. Like, really? He probably wore it in past press conferences before. The man got 40 fights, but that Spence was pretty much marketing the Air Force Ones in his past couple fights. And now he want to jump on the man trail or whatever, laughing in his face. I don't know what's up with Bud, man. That shit got me thinking he might be behind on the scorecards, bro. It said I know they ain't got nothing to do with the fight. Man, either one of these guys could probably make a one-sided fight out of this. You know what I mean? Because fights, we always think be 50-50. But when we get in there, somebody dominates. You know what I mean? So I really hope this is competitive because Crawford, he got the better footwork. He could possibly outbox Spence and dance around Spence and just be countering Spence, catching Spence coming in and just boxing around him like Victor Postal. But I don't really bank on that much movement because he only did it in one fight in his career. So I don't expect him at 35, almost 36 years old, just to have all these dance moves now. You know what I mean? And Spence, he potentially could dominate the fight because he could probably end up being too big and strong for Crawford. And if Crawford can't lower Spence output, I'm pretty sure that Crawford will lower Spence output by some. No way Spence is going to be able to get off 70 plus punches around. But if he don't like tremendously make him drop his work rate, Spence going to at least get a decision. Plus, he got the better coach. Bomac, no disrespect, dog, but outside of Bud, I don't really see much. I don't really see much outside of Bud. Derek James, he got Spence, Charlo, Frank. Frank started boxing late, so Derek James got to get credit for that. He got Frank looking like a top lightweight. So Spence has the better trainer. Bomac, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna disrespect Bomac like that. He's some type of good. Even if you got one fighter that make it this far. Shit, they give Eddie Reynoso all the credit in the world. He only got Canelo. So Bomac is some type of good, but I think Derek James is better. The first half of this fight is going to be interesting. I mean, I expect Spence to be able to jab as much as he wants, seeing that Kell Brook was able to jab Bud for 3 straight rounds. But I also thought Fulton had a better jab than Inui. I don't know why. I don't know why I compare that fight to this fight because Terence Crawford is also the smaller guy with the speed advantage and feet advantage. Maybe Terence Crawford could pitch a shutout and dominate and stop Earl like Inui and Fulton did Fulton, but a lot of that had to do with Fulton not being able to keep Inui off of him as well. I think if anything, Spence will be able to keep Bud off him. You know what I mean? Spence got enough power. But yeah, I like what I seen, man. They really had that energy out there. I don't know. I'm not for sure to know who to pick, man. I'm not for sure. Like I don't feel comfortable picking against Bud, but I don't know if I could pick Bud because there's a lot of questions. And there's a lot of questions on both sides. You know what I mean? But I think Earl is the house fighter. Earl has more possible fights in the future to make like Canelo Alvarez and shit like that. So if it's close, I expect him to get that decision. Not saying that Bud's gonna get robbed. I think Spence will earn that decision. I think he will win 7 rounds because even though Crawford is a skilled boxer puncher, Spence, he's a pressure fighter, and I believe that pressure fighters has the best chance against boxer punchers. You know what I mean? Those guys are the toughest to beat in the game. And Spence has that educated pressure too. He ain't just flailing a bunch of punches. He take his time. So I just wanted to have my little input about the press conference. Can't wait for tomorrow. I'ma probably get my pay-per-view early. Seems like that makes sense. The undercard ain't all that, but it's all right. As long as the main event is the main event and they show up, I ain't got no problem. But I'm gonna be back later on today, talk about this fight even more.